Cut out the jibber jabber. Don't be babbling like a fool. Say what you got to say. That's all. Then shut your dang pie hole.
Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. 0 Dark 30, and we are blasting out of the bunker into the night. Oh man, I think it was a giant, one of those Grimm's fairy tales giants. It says, "I'll grind your bones to make my bread." What does that mean? What does that have to do with SHTF and human life? Well, in all truth, it has a lot to do with it. A lot. The giants were the powerful, the demigods. They thought they were superior and supreme. And what is your bread? Bread is euphemistic or analogous for money, power, nourishment. Anything that you could want is your bread. So the giants who think they're gods will grind the bones of everyone that they control to satisfy themselves. Well, that to me sounds like General Syrskyi the Butcher of Kiev. He was just appointed by Zelensky as the Russians are about to pierce Avdiivka, the current big battleground, Avdiivka. The Russians are splitting the city in half. They're going to trap a big portion of the Ukraine military without any supplies. It's looking very bad. I believe, and I'm going to take a wild guess here, that the Ukraine military that is being captured, or rather cornered, will allow itself to be captured. The alternative is death, to fight and fight and fight. Now, interesting that that point comes up, because that is precisely what General Syrskyi has done, is he is sending more people to their deaths. Apparently, the Ukraine military has an elite reserve force that they are reportedly sending in to stop the Russians. I have a few questions at this point. We need to think about this for our own individual SHTF and what situations we may face. I have to know. I have to know. My question is, if Ukraine had reserve forces, why are they waiting until the city is about to fall to send them in? If it's for nothing other than to make it a meat grinder. Because that's literally what the Russians have been, is a meat grinder for Ukraine. So not only are these reserve forces, but they're calling them elites. Well, don't you think that an elite unit, whether it's regular or reserve, would have been ideal to send in weeks, if not months ago? Oh, I think so. I think it would have been advisable to take the city before Russia got a strong situation, a good foothold there, a grip. Now it's got a stranglehold and it's cutting the city in half. And now they want to send in elite reserves. Not buying it. I'm not buying it. You don't wait until you're that far in. And it's not like they just waited a couple extra hours, not sure if they should do it. It's literally been months. And they should have sent in their best if they wanted to keep it. I don't know if Ukraine and NATO could look any less competent. I really don't know. War is hell, folks. I want no part of it. But it's coming. So therefore, we don't have a choice. We're going to have to deal with it. It's going to hurt everyone's feelings. one's going to be happy about it. But there is a good lesson here. And I feel bad for whoever these Ukrainian troops are who keep getting sent to the front lines to be killed. They keep some reservists around, to give them more training so they can call them elites, and then they send them to the front? Is that how this works? Let me describe, if I can, the way war works and see if I can be succinct about it. The purpose of war, during the war, the military's job is to kill people and break things, and kill people while breaking things. That's the purpose. That's its job. So even if Ukraine had 1,000 men to send in to fight the Russians, and they're elites, they're better trained, they're better equipped, they're a more cohesive unit, they've worked together through training. That's all good. But this isn't the fucking movies where an elite force goes in and 5 guys waylay 500. It ain't that kind of a world, folks. It ain't that kind of a movie. So let's be generous and say, under normal circumstances, the Ukraine military kills Russians 1 for 1. I'm sure Ukraine will tell everyone that they kill Russians 2 to 1. But let's just say 1 to 1. Because a trained Russian military is only as competent as a trained Ukraine military. We'll go with that. So it's 1 to 1. Right? For every 1 Russian killed, 1 Ukrainian gets killed. But Ukraine has been fighting with substandard military ammunition, armament, leadership, etc. So I'm sure their kill ratio isn't that high. But let's just assume that Kiev's special elite reserves are twice the soldiers the Russians are. They're just badasses. Well, that makes the kill ratio 2 to 1. So Russia, which has lost thousands and tens of thousands of men in this war, same with Ukraine, they've lost anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million, depending on the site or the source you cite. Those Ukraine elite fighters, folks, are going to end up in the grave. They have to, because Russia's not going to stop. Even if it's a 2 to 1 kill ratio, they'll lose 2,000 to take out the 1,000 of Ukraine's very, very best elites. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. This is not the type of war where you send in a couple of really good guys and they just massacre thousands. They walk out in slow motion with fire and smoke roiling up behind them as their bullet wounds drip a little bit of blood, but that doesn't keep them from walking out like the Macho 6. It's just not how it works. War is fucking hell. Everyone's gonna fucking die. There's, for some reason, people have in their head this sanitized version of war. When you turn 2 armies on each other and they fight it out, there's only a couple left. There's just handfuls of human beings left after thousands of men face off with swords or guns. It's just a different kind of world, folks, than what everyone thinks it is. And they're going to grind bones to make their bread, to get their way. These wannabe gods of NATO and the World Economic Forum. Everyone is sacrificial. Everyone is disposable. And they'll grind all the bones they can to get their way. Let that be a lesson to us with those giants, or those that think they're giants up in D.C. They think you're disposable. Your kids are disposable. Americans are disposable. Just look how Schumer treats everyone. Scumbag, weasel, just absolute horrifying human being. Chuck Schumer says he'll take us to war if he doesn't get his money. Yeah, he'll grind some bones to make his bread, won't he? Chance favors the prepared mind is yours.